Hello everyone and welcome to another high elo game of Age of Empires. Today the game's most heavily armored cavalry unit meets the game's most dangerous armor ignoring cavalry unit as the Viper playing as the Lithuanians in blue gets ready to take on Kasva playing as the Slavs in red. Now all the players heard their herdables explore their elevated surroundings, and we'll take a look at the map in a second. We are on Acropolis and try to get their butts up the Feudal Age ASAP. Why don't we take an opportunity to look at the civ matchup we'll be watching today? The Lithuanians are a civ that focuses on their heavy cavalry. Their knights, their cavaliers, their paladins all get a free attack boost for every single one of these that's collected, every relic up to a maximum of +4 attack for free when and if the Viper gets 4 relics. Now this feature also applies to the unique unit of the Lithuanians, the Latest. This is a heavy cavalry unit whose attack actually ignores enemy armor, making it one of the most annoying and powerful units in the game. Now, to gather their relics to get this free attack boost as fast as possible, Lithuanian monasteries do work 20% faster than normal, which means you can pump out monks a little bit quicker, get those relics a little bit quicker, augment your cavalry, and go and kill your enemy. Now, to support their heavy cavalry on the battlefield, Lithuanian spearman line units and their skirmishers do move 10% faster and can both be upgraded to get extra pierce armor. Now, to build a robust economy to support their military endeavors, each Lithuanian town center does provide 100 food for free. You'll have noticed, if you have noticed in the top left of our screen, the Lithuanians started with 100 extra food in the beginning of the game, and the Lithuanians can be much harder to raid since they can upgrade their town centers to get extra range, which makes them outrange a lot of mangonels in the Castle Age. Now, taking a look at the hill to the north of the map where we've got Kasva playing as the Slavs, a civilization that loves to get in your face with its melee units. Their infantry, whose upgrade line is pristine and is already quite strong, can be upgraded to do trample damage, and their unique unit is the Boyar, a fairly slow but super tanky, powerful cavalry unit with an absolute bonkers level of melee and pierce armor. Think Teutonic Knight on a horse. Now, to support their melee units on the battlefield against harassment by annoying things like maybe ranged units, all Slavic Siege Workshop units are 15% cheaper, which is fantastic for the Slavs because they have access to all Siege Workshop units with the exception of bombard cannons. Now, those cheaper siege units can be combined with their monks, which move 20% faster than normal to create a powerful siege monk rush, adorably called a smush. Isn't that just adorable and cute? Now, Slavic castles can also be upgraded so that 40% of their stone cost is replaced with wood, which does save a player about 250 stone per castle. Although remember, to get this upgrade, you have to get a castle first, and that first castle is always at full price. Now, to help them grow their military production, both the supplies and gambeson upgrades are free of charge. Their farmers work 15% faster than normal, and their barracks, their archery rangers, their stables, and their siege workshops actually provide 5 population space, just like houses, which does free up more wood for farms, more castles, or maybe even some of those cheaper siege units that I was just mentioning. So this rather is the battle we've got in front of us on Acropolis, where both players, as we can see, start the game on a bit of a Arthur Conan Doyle plateau here, without the dinosaurs, I guess. Everyone starts, I believe, with 7 patches of gold and 2 small patches of stone, and very sparse but still bountiful forest. It's not a small quantity of forest, they're just all over the place. So civilizations like the Georgians, the Armenians with that mobile mule cart, the donkey cart, probably have a 1-up on a map like this when it comes to getting that lumber, though looks like both players having the same idea have already moved to the low ground. By the way, these slopes, you cannot build anything on these slopes, so walling off your base on a map like this requires a lot of wood, a lot of stone, and a lot of time and micro, which is why generally you don't really see a full wall off, although never say never. Army counts identical, villager counts identical. There is also a lake in the middle. Not that I'm expecting any kind of action around this lake. Usually lakes are contested in our live streams when we watch 4-on-4 Rage Forest games. Man, oh man, do the players like to waste a lot of wood, a lot of gold, energy, time, and patience contesting lakes that ultimately never really inure to anyone's benefit, really. But, what is happening here? What is happening with this deer? What is the Viper doing? So the Viper just having a little bit of fun. Probably live streaming this on his Twitch, having a bit of fun with his viewers there. Looked like he was blocking the path of the deer. Not too sure why. Maybe he wanted to block the path of these three militias that are moving forward. 4 militias. I feel like the Count in Sesame, just counting militias. And here we go, Kasva attempting to lame the first major wood source of the Viper. The Viper, though, with the scout, sees it and will immediately pounce. Although with one very unupgraded scout, I highly doubt he's going to be able to stop this tower from going up. Kasva hasn't... Oh no, Kasva, what are you doing? Why did you delete that? I guess he deleted because he saw the counter tower going up for the Viper. That was going to go up much quicker, and then moves his own tower away from the firing range, still laming a little bit of the wood. But that was a very, very risky situation for a hot second there for our Slav, as his villager takes half HP damage. Although 2 villagers should be able to, and should be enough to shoo away an unupgraded Feudal Age scout. Their attack does jump a little bit. Their line of sight, their speed do jump in Feudal Age from Dark Age. And this tower will go up, but the Viper's already repositioned his lumberjack, so it's not really going to accomplish much. And the Viper's tower is starting to take shots at this palisade. What was it firing at? And now all of a sudden it stopped firing. What the hell was it firing at? Maybe a villager? Not too sure. Second area of lumberjacking has already been taken by the Viper. Becomes very discovered here by our Slav, whose only area of lumberjacking is now under attack. But with an army like this, yeah, the whole point of this army here out of the Viper is mainly to stop jacking of the lumber. This is not really going to kill anything, not with such weak units, not with spearmen, a skirmisher, and a scout. For his part, our Slav is continuing to circle around here, which is funny that the Slav is housed, seeing as how this one barracks does add population space. Is he building a house? I don't see him building anything. Oh, never mind. He just completed a house. And so he is now unhoused. And looks like the first kill of the game going to our Slav, whose villagers, I believe with a little bit of high ground maybe, managed to get that spearman. The Viper taking a very wide approach to this base, does not want to lose any more units. Or maybe he's on relic patrol. Back home, he has to defend against these militia. There's 4 of them. The scout does move into the berry bush, but this is enough to defend against Kasva's aggression, I believe. Especially if he stays close to this town center. Not much of these militias. Are they also unupgraded? Yes, of course they are. Both players opting for quantity versus quality at the moment, just to get out as many units as possible, be as annoying as possible, and skill check the other opponent. By the way, I'm gonna use that term very frequently, because I really do enjoy the concept of that. It's an attack that's kind of meant to do damage, but not really. It's a test of your opponent's ability to micro. And a test... Oh, I don't even know which militia, which man-at-arms got that kill. They both attacked at the exact same time. But a skill check is exactly what Kasva is doing right now. He's moving 4 men-at-arms forward, not really expecting to get too much done unless you're facing an opponent whose skills don't allow him or her to micro very well. And in which case you might get a villager or 2, or you might distract some villagers. You might pull them off the production line. You might pull them off of resource gathering. You might lame a thing here or there. So it really isn't designed to end the game or really kill, but it's an opportunistic attack. So if it does have an opportunity to kill, it will, but it's not really designed to. I will eventually come up with a much more concise definition of the term, and then I'll be able to say it. I'm still kind of working out all the kinks. It's one of these expressions that you have to explain a lot, because if you don't explain a serious chunk of it, it can be misinterpreted as something completely different. But in any event, that's what I believe Kasva is doing here. He's moving forward. All he wants to do, I believe, if I had to guess, let me know in the comments if you think differently, if you believe differently. This is going to be annoying now. He's going to attack a palisade, maybe get one of the villagers from gold to stop mining that gold. Ooh, the Viper tried to wall himself in, but not successful. Or like this, if you can catch a villager, there you go. It's an opportunistic... oh man, why am I having such a hard time saying opportunistic? It's an opportunistic poke and prod here, designed to test your opponent's skills. And just like that, gets a villager. And so, game isn't over. Continuing, economy hasn't been destroyed completely, but what is happening here is to the northeast of the Viper's base, an entire woodline gets pulled apart as one more villager. So kill count here 4-2. Kasva is doing a great job skill checking the Viper right now. The Viper is in a mass exodus of lumberjacks. Why are his units not firing? These skirmishers are doing a lot of moving, and I get it, they do have minimum range, but at least fire a little bit. Kasva gets another villager, or not a villager, a spearman kill over here. So little by little, these little pokes and prods are starting to do some good amount of damage. Kasva is 2 villagers ahead. He's ahead 1 army count, and by all means, the better army composition here with the tankier infantry unit. Unfortunately for him, because it's an infantry unit, this town center basically creates a zone of safety for the Viper's villagers, and there's not too much that he's going to be able to do unless he catches more and more straggler villagers, but I don't think the Viper's going to let him do that a second time. Oh god, right as I say that, Okay, villagers finally on the left side decide to take matters into their own hands. We cannot wait for our army to come. We must form our own militia. And the Viper, just like that, gets 4 kills of his own. But Kasva adds 3 more kills, 2 more dead villagers to the notches on his belt. Make that 3 more dead villagers. His men-at-arms are chasing. 3 villagers pulled off to the north, 2 pulled off to the south, 1 more dies. Oh, this is going real bad for the Viper all of a sudden, as more and more villagers are dying. Now, I did not expect this push number 1 to be all in as it is, or at least appears to be right now, because he's just going up to Castle Age now, 2 minutes behind his opponent. So the Viper's going to have a good advantage in Castle Age. The problem for the Viper is he's going to be in Castle Age 12 villagers behind. So we'll see if he uses that extra 2 minutes to pump out another, what, 5 villagers, or whether or not there's going to be some kind of military being built here for our Lithuanian. Now, it's funny that we have such a mirrored civilization battle. We saw the other day with the Sicilians and the Gurjaras. Now we see, like I said, one civ whose unique unit ignores armor, another civ whose unique unit is the most armored cavalry in the game. But not only that, one whose monasteries and monks get trained 20% faster against one whose monks move 20% faster. And our Slav isn't done. He's still here. Still circling around. Let's see what he can get done. The Viper says enough's enough. Places a castle. I wonder why this area... I don't wonder at all. He needs wood. And this is the easiest, quickest way to protect with your wood, while also laming your opponent's attempt to get your wood line. So the Lithuanian castle will go up first. That's what the Viper is using his advantage for. The castle goes up, and immediately 2 Lechai get trained. And now, all of a sudden, the Viper is ready to strike back. He's going to have the game's most powerful unit at the moment. A 14 attack, ignores armor. This villager has 40 HP, which means 3 pokes of the lance, and down goes that villager. But the latest was blocked by these skirmishers who inexplicably are on move command yet again. The Viper skirmishers doing a lot more moving than they are doing attacking or anything else, and they take a bunch of damage. One of them dies. Their HP is down to about half, and our Slav is going pure infantry. Let's see it. Let's see Druzhina and give them that trample damage effect. That's just going to be awesome. Awesome to watch. So I believe with squires, they should be able to catch up to these skirmishers. What point? No, one. Oh, oops. Yeah, sorry. These are Lithuanian skirmishers. My apologies. Where are your long swordsmen? What is your movement speed? Yeah, 0.99. Definitely not going to be able to catch up. Any other civ would have been able to catch up to that 0.96 movement speed, but I temporarily brain farted and brain shat all over the screen, and now I forgot that the Lithuanian skirmishers do move 10% faster right from the very get-go. Leitis rather moved forward. Looks like he got a few pokes off at these spearmen, but way too many spearmen. Even feudal age units like this with their plus, what is it, 5? Cavalry plus 15. That's a much higher than I thought it would be for a spearman, but I guess he is in Castle Age. are enough to shoot away that one latest. There are 4 Lechai out on the map. 3 of them are here. The Viper, how many relics has our Lithuanian seen, by the way? Obviously seen the one right next to there because he's sending his monk. He's seen the second up here, has not seen the one near Kasva's base. Has seen the one next to the lake. And where is the 5th relic? 1, 2. Where the hell's the 5th relic? 1, 2, 3, 4. I declare a thumb war, but I don't declare any relic sightings. We'll see. Maybe somebody's already got a relic. Yeah, the Lithuanian already managed to pinch a relic. Loses a monk. And now these long swordsmen are not going to be long for this world. Get it? LOL, because these Lechai are just going to swarm, and just like that, in the blink of an eye, when you ignore armor, man, oh man, can you kill your opponent's units so damn quickly. Let's look at this high-stake chase as the monk tries to evade the tower. Will he? One more arrow. He evades the tower, but right as he exits, and the last arrow from the tower misses, lands, and kills a few of these shorefish, the pikemen do move in. They get a poke, and the monk goes down. But you know what? Mission accomplished. Relic is now inside the protective zone of the Lithuanian castle, and our Lithuanian is going up to 2 relics. Our Slav, though, already has 1. So the most that our Lithuanian can now get is 4, which is just hunky-dory, because their +4, rather their +X attack caps out at a 4. By the way, the Viper still has not seen the relic. Right. Oh, I love and I hate when this happens. Literally the next tile over, and you'll have seen the relic. But now the Lechai are at a +3. He's got foraging, which means they're at a +4. Needs iron casting to get them +5, and then this relic to get them to +6. Has our Slav seen this relic is more important? No, he hasn't either. Oh, so we've got a few blind mice all over the map exploring, trying to find relics. I'm not sure why the Lechai is so hesitant to take this fight. They can absolutely slaughter these pikemen. I don't think even one of them will die unless, yeah, their HP is not the greatest. Will he try to catch the monk? Does he even say? Now the Viper sees the relic. What an absolute opportunistic get there with the vision as the pikeman pokes and prods, and down goes the big bad wolf. The Viper moving out, immediately sees the relic, immediately moves to get it. This one red monk in the middle of nowhere. Look at that insane line of sight on the monks. Always crazy to see. Basically, they're little mobile outposts as they move around and around and around. I'm not too sure why red is hugging the edge of the map. If your monk has this much line of sight, maybe you want to put him a little bit further away. Otherwise, this part of your vision is not really getting maximized. And here we go. One player moving towards the relic, another player, where is your villager? He's going to see the relic getting teefed. Maybe we'll see. Let's see who sees who first. Yeah, the Viper has seen the outpost. Will the outpost see the relic? Will it be in time? Maybe not. Yeah, he sees it. Okay, so now he knows there's a 4th and final relic here being pulled by his opponent. The Viper moves in. A hastily constructed wall off keeps him out for a second, but more importantly, a town center and a conversion mean that the Viper should not engage into this. Might even get a second conversion. Will our Slav gets a second conversion? So losing 2 Lechai in exchange for 1 monk. I don't know if that's really that worth it. And the monk with his honor guard of fellow brethren, fellow book and crookers, moves forward here. And now the Viper is in very dangerous territory. He's got 4 relics. He's placing a second castle. Kasva still ahead. 19 villagers, 25% bigger economy, double the army count. But his army count is starting to look a little lackluster compared to the Lechai, who are now, I mean, they don't have iron casting. If they do get iron casting, will be at absolute max strength as they discover a few villagers moving forward. But there's now enough pikemen here. That's a lot of pikemen. And a counter castle. I mean, red sees this. He's got the tower. He's got the house. He knows exactly what the Viper is up to. Kasva with an incredibly aggressive attempt to counter the castle here, especially since he can't even start construction with these stupid monks blocking the construction site. They're like protesters. Environmentalist protesters here. Oh, at least move some of these villagers away so that the Viper's castle can't attack them. Although, will the Viper's Castle even go up? 34, 35, 97, 98, and it does go up. All of these pikemen are in serious jeopardy. Luckily for Kasva, the Viper is not playing the Teutons, who get murder holes for free. And so unless the Viper researches murder holes, in theory, these pikemen should be able to kill that castle, destroy it, knock it down. A few villagers, or rather a villager, dies here. Kasva's not done. The Viper is destroying his tower. Kasva is destroying the Viper's castle little by little. It's down 10% of its HP already. And now this castle's up, it looks like, on the high ground. So it's going to do a bit more damage to the Viper's castle than the Viper's castle is doing to it. Now again, unfortunately not the Teutons, so garrisoned infantry does not add arrows here. And the map is kind of stabilized as Kasva is heading up to Imperial Age. He now has still a 19 villager lead, still about a 25% bigger economy. He's got his counter castle. He's getting a handcart for his villagers. The Viper's still just on wheelbarrow, just like Kasva. His Lechai do find a random outpost. And by the way, Kasva can click on these units, all synchronized attack when it's the Lechai is so much fun. Oh, you guys. Right when I was about to say to watch. Oh, here we go. Oh, look at that. Am I the only one who just enjoys seeing that way too much? Oh no, 4 conversion attempts. 4 conversion attempts. He has to get the hell out of here. But a counter castle going up here, or rather a anchor castle, not a counter castle, I do apologize, is going up here. So Kasva's right flank is going to be secured. I don't know if the castle should have been placed a little bit further out to get this gold as well. The battle of the castles is continuing. The Vipers is down almost 20%. Kasva's down almost 10%. Little bit of blue sight continuing here as the Viper wants to make sure he does not get side attacked, flanked. And just like that, the map has gone quiet. And what is the Viper going to do? He's got barely any resources. Has he queued up Imperial Age behind any of these? No, no, and no. Oh, there is a 4th town center. No here as well. So the Viper, even though he had a 2-minute advantage in Castle Age, his opponent is going to have a serious advantage in Imperial, and out comes a Boyar. Wrong moment to come out. Not against about a bajillion Lechai. And look at the game's most heavily armored cavalry destroyed in the blink of an eye. Detonet's getting research for our Slav as well. Just trying to see a plus 22 attack against cavalry. The Lechai have 122 HP. So what is that? 6 attacks needed to kill a Lechai? A Letis, rather. Town center gets garrison, gets rid of the outpost, figures, you know what, not really worth it. There's another outpost right here. Why am I wasting time? As 3 Boyars, their base armor is 4. I believe that melee armor jumps to an 8. I think when they become elite, if we're lucky enough to see elite, the castle's continuing to attack one another. 1,000 HP down from one, 700 HP down from the other. Looks like the town center managed to get these, at least a Boyar, but didn't come the Lechai. They are much quicker than the Boyars. The Boyars with all that armor move about as slow as molasses in January. 1.3 tiles a second to the 1.54 of the Lechai, who should be able to catch up and kill these. Let's follow along on this journey of murder, of death, of love and war. One with a giant battle axe, one with a giant spear. Where will the Boyar go, and how many Lechai will he take with him? The pikemen move forward. A gauntlet is created, and just like all it takes is a few love taps, and the Boyar, what other unit in the game can do that? But ultimately, the Lechai do pay the price, so not exactly a free get there for the Viper, who is still in Castle Age, getting ballistics and armor upgrades for his cavalry, while his opponent has a Treb already out, going pikemen, conscription, block printing, theocracy, iron casting, plate mail armor, Kasva, rich as Croesus, Croesus, what the hell's the expression? I always forget how to pronounce that name of that ancient Greek fable of the super duper wealthy king. Croesus? In any event, getting a whole slew of upgrades, and by the way, with 12 range with block printing on his monks, those Lechai are going to be in a spot of trouble. Now, what I would love to see is some Druzhina to add a Oh my goodness. Oh my god, what's the expression? Trample damage. I was going to say a blast radius, but that's not true. Lechai are moving forward. There's a lot of them. There's a castle already here. Kasva, with the vision, saw the Viper coming from a mile away with these amazingly placed outposts. Look at Red's vision on the map. The Viper was going this way, trying to avoid prying eyes, and instead does exactly what he wanted to avoid, which is makes himself known to the Slav who places. Now I realize why he placed that emergency castle all the way to the back. And look at these monks moving 20% faster than normal, are already here. They are on the hunt. Their faith is at a maximum. There are 11 of them, and there's only 28 Lechai. Can you imagine 11 conversions on that? It would be down from 28 to 17, and your opponent would have 11. That is a 22 unit swing if Kasva is light on his fingers with the conversions, but for now he's moving forward. Boyars on the left, and we are getting hill forts for our town centers. And let's see how all of this shapes up. The Boyars to the left, not really accomplishing much right now. They're mostly on move command. The Viper's got his skirmishers here. And then they come, in come the Lechai. No, 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 no. Why are you peeling a bunch away? The Viper does the absolute worst possible thing he can do. His army could have absolutely overwhelmed these halberdiers. The Lechai are similar to the Persian war elephant, where it's a little bit misleading. You might think a few halberdiers can take down a Persian war elephant. They cannot. And I feel like Lechai are the same, and now they're on move command going through a forest of halberdiers. I mean, the Viper takes that fight, but he should have taken it much, much better. Now he's down to 10 Lechai. What's their HP? Oh, absolutely terrible. Down a third of their HP. Although he is, for the first time that I'm noticing, he is ahead in both army count and civilian population. But the monks get more and more conversions. More and more Lechai are defecting to the Slavic Empire, as the Slavic war machine is here again. One Commander Boyar leading his halberdier troops into battle, and now all of a sudden I don't feel so good for the Viper anymore. Needs to stay here, needs to stay on the high ground, especially with the skirmishers, especially if he wants to kill these halberdiers with the skirmishers. But now I'm not so sure anymore. The more fights that go on, and look at the monks. They are just absolutely moving forward. Conversions going down on anything and everything that he can get. Another Latus gets converted. And now the Boyar is closed on the skirmisher. Yeah, holy moly, when the Boyar closes, I mean, look at that frickin' armor. 11 melee armor, 7 pierce armor against the unit that attacks on a 5. And by the way, half of these skirmishers can't fire on the Boyar because the Boyar is in their minimum range of 1. And holy moly, still no trample damage, eh? And look at the reinforcements just endlessly streaming in here from Kasva. But I think the mistake, if I can call it a mistake, perhaps a tactical error out of the Viper, came at this point in the game. This point in the game. So your opponent has 26 halberdiers. You've got 33 Lechai, fully capped out, 19 attack against a unit with 60 HP. So unfortunately 4 attacks instead of 3. If only these were elite and they attacked on a 22, that would have been a game changer, but they're not elite. But I think even with 33 Lechai, you could have absolutely overwhelmed this army. Perhaps he was a little scared of the conversions, because let's see what happens. The Viper at the wrong moment tears his army in half like a sheet of paper, and let's see what happens. Maybe he's just scared of the monks? Already in the blink of an eye, 2 conversions, 3 conversions, 4 conversions. So the monks paying for themselves, and all of a sudden, you've now got 30 Lechai. I don't know where the extra Lechai Latus came in from, but all of a sudden you've got 30. And at the moment when the Viper needs to overwhelm like a Miley Cyrus wrecking ball this entire army, He peels off more than half of its 17 to chase 2. Kasva with the brilliant move to try to lure the Viper away, and the Viper fell for it. So he's luring away the Viper's late shy here, and all of a sudden the Viper closes, goes for the Trebs, which gives the Halberdiers a chance to catch up to the late shy and poke and prod them from behind. And the Viper realizes it halfway towards the, actually not halfway, towards the end of the battle, realizes, hey, why am I running away from the battle? Why has he got me chasing this? You're just going to keep running to the edge of the map. So he takes 11 of these late shy back. The problem is now these late shy are down to 7 count. And now, even though they have, I mean, ostensibly done a good job, have survived a bunch of them, but look at the HP on the survivors. And the Viper takes his 11 and goes all the way here into a choke point, perhaps hoping he can lure the Halberdiers into this forest of skirmishers. How many skirmishers does he have? 24 skirmishers with an attack bonus +4 against spearman line units. So the Viper's logic here, fantastic. Unfortunately for him, he just, for the majority of the battle, wasn't using his entire army. And now by the time this happens, the skirmishers are attacking, killing the Halberdiers as well as they possibly can. But now Kasva doesn't care, even though he's down in army count. Now the war machine is beginning. 8 boyars, 4 Halberdiers in training. Would have loved to see a bit more infrastructure out of our Slav, and he's placing it right now. But ultimately, look at the screen. Just look at the map. So many reinforcements. The Viper, even though he's got a whole bunch of gold, actually looks like he just spent 1,000 of it. Was he clicking up to the next stage? No, he just bought a whole bunch of resources. 600. Yeah, he bought 600 stone for 1,000 gold. Emergency castle. So he's stuck in castle age, most importantly, which means his latest is not going to be at max strength, like we saw. Capping out at a 19 means that, unfortunately, as sour as it is, it needs 4 attacks to kill the Halberdier instead of 3, which is a pretty big deal because it gives the Halberdiers probably an opportunity to attack one more time with their +32 bonus damage against the latest. He's stuck in castle. He's got no resources left. He spent all of his resources to build this backwards castle, and his opponent is not going there. His opponent is just sticking around in the front, killing the Viper's army. And now the Viper's army count of 19, 11, 12 skirmishers are here. 12 out of 19 army count is about to die, even though he'll probably get this one half-dead Halberdier. It's the boyar with his axe raised that is the real big problem, because all of these guys do little to no damage. And the boyar is just 60 HP left on this one and 92 HP left on the other. So Kasva, just absolutely with the reinforcements, is able to overwhelm the Viper's army, which is weaker, is smaller, and inexplicably half of it got pulled away at the worst possible time, even though the Viper does have all 4 relics. We'll see what the relic gold count is like for him. Let's take a look at the stats. And by the way, Kasva, perhaps you could argue what won him the game is not really the battle to the front, but this castle to the back. With all of these outposts placed, he saw the Viper's late shy, which were moving up the right side of the screen and towards his base. He saw them coming from a mile away. Look at how much notice he had when the Viper's units popped out of here. This castle was not up, by the way, so they must have popped out of this area. And then they went all the way up here. They pivoted left. And by that time, this castle, by the way, with detonets, so it does save 260 stone per castle, is already up. So arguably, that's the moment Kasva won the game. If that castle wasn't up, and all of a sudden 20 late shy busted into this base, that is really bad news bears for the economy. He would have absolutely wrecked the economy, even with this one castle here. This entire eastern portion of the base would have been depopulated. 39 villagers out of 124 would have gone down the toilet. And that was just brilliant moves here out of our Slav in red. And the Viper, again, does have the 4 relics, but does not have Imperial Age. So stuck. And now this is an elite boyar. Look at those stats. Absolutely bonkers. Late shy to Halberdiers. I think the late shy take this battle if they're fully upgraded, but doesn't really matter. Didn't really get that far. They, by the way, are not fully upgraded. They're still not elite. PKPM beginning of the game. PKPM right at the beginning of the game. Probably queuing villagers, clicking here, clicking there. Economies. Interesting. Only about just over 20% bigger economy for our Slav. A lot more relic gold, about 1,700 extra gold paid for those boyars. But let's see, the Viper did take more stone for all the good that it did him. A little bit more wood, a lot more food. No surprise there with those quicker Slavic farmers. And a little bit more gold for our Slav. I want to see conversions. 10 conversions out of 108 is 9% of the Lithuanian army. And it wasn't a weak 9%. I think if not all, then the vast majority of these conversions were Lechai. Absolutely epic. 5 out of 162 is about, what, 3%? So not that great for the Viper, but 9% of the Viper's army being converted to the Slavic army is just about as good as you can get here. And then let's take a look at the kill count. Basically identical. The Slav killed more villagers. It looks like the Lithuanian killed more army. Not a surprise there, since he was going against very flimsy halberdiers. But look at just this tide of reinforcements going straight to the Viper's base. And now 2/3 of the Viper's army is going to die. And once this dies, he's got what? 2 scouts, 2 Lechai, and a converted boyar, who himself looks like he's about to die to 2 halberdiers and his former teammate. His former brother in arms is about to kill him. Another 2 monks are dying. So things, when you zoom out and then zoom back in, you start seeing that the Viper's position here is slowly becoming very untenable. And even though he destroyed his economy to get this castle up, ultimately, yeah, that's not where Kasva even is at the moment. And there's just way too much Lithuanian spread out way too far and just way too exposed. This is a lot of lumberjacks, by the way. I guess he could have pivoted here. There is still gold and whatnot. But ultimately, it's either the vision of this that saved Kasva that allowed him to win this game, or it's the never-ending push of reinforcements that leaves our Slav with more than 3 times the army count of his opponent. And by the way, not bad army count at all with this shiny shielded boyar, fully upgraded, 150 HP, 18 attack, 11 armor. And just the Viper has no way to deal with this. He can survive that first attack because he had 33, 34, 35, 40 Lechai. But once he split that group off and carved his army in half, our Slav just had an absolute amazing opportunity. He sacrificed his trebuchets, didn't even bother packing them up so that the halberdiers could close behind the Lechai, sacrificed the trebs, got the Lechai, and now there's nothing left to deal with this Slavic army that is on the warpath. And by the way, these halberdiers can be upgraded also to do trample damage eventually. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that Druzhina is a Imperial Age upgrade. Doesn't have the food or the wood for it. It is a ridiculously expensive upgrade, but one that the Viper has to be cognizant of always. And the Viper, like I said, just wrecked his economy at the end, destroyed it, gutted it, pilfered every last ingot of gold to get this castle up. And ultimately, it wasn't really that relevant as Kasva overwhelms the opponent with triple the army count, the powerful boyar and the halberdiers and the monks, more importantly, that absolutely managed to stop the Lechai from being at their absolute best. And with that army, with those fancy maneuvers, it is Kasva who is victorious, but GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.